But I will call us back to order at 7:31. Secretary Riddick, will you please take attendance of our student?
Santi, Carla, and AJ. Welcome.
Welcome. And now would everyone please stand and join us in the pledge? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you all, and welcome to the January 16th regular Board of Education meeting. Public officials I see joining us is our regular Sherry Klump. Thank you. TMI, Sherry, TMI. Okay, and let's see. Any individual physically present at the meeting wishing to address the board must complete a comment card and provide it to Ms. Del Real here on my left, your right. Anyone virtually attending the meeting wishing to address the board must complete the public comment form linked on the agenda prior to starting the public comment section, and any written public comments may be submitted via email. We have reached the board communications section of the agenda. The first item is the board policy committee update. We met on the 9th. It was pretty cut and dried. So we do have, I believe we have first reading here on the, yes, it is in the consent agenda. So that's it for policy. Next is NSSEO. Once again, one of the District 21 students, her name was Allison, she's at minor. She was one of the shining stars. We had one of the paraprofessionals at Timber Ridge, Gina, who I have worked with on several levels. She was one of 4 representatives from the state of Illinois at a national conference, and all she did was sing the praises of NSSEO, because unlike any other co-op that was there or the districts, when it came to contract negotiations and everything, NSSEO includes the paras. And they were all like looking, and even the ones from Southern Illinois are like, wait, what? They listen to you? What you need? She just kept singing the praises. It was very nice hearing from her. She was actually at the event that Rep. Mussman was at today. I saw her in the background of one of the pictures. And next NSSEO uses Richley Transportation because they are very specialized for those students, the high need students, and they do training all the time. We actually have gone out for bids for contracts, and it took 1 month, and we canceled the contract from a new vendor and went back to Richley because they just were not doing what we needed. We signed a 3-year new contract with them. They originally wanted 5 years, but they would not give us percentages of the increase for years 4 and 5. And we're like, yeah, no, we're not going to do that. So we went with a 3-year contract. We're very happy with that. And the last thing is they're working very hard on their strategic plan that they had not done in many, many, many years, making big progress. It's been amazing hearing the buy-in from all 8 member districts, having all the superintendents there, a lot of the assistant soups and everything. And we don't have everything finalized yet, but the biggest thing that they want to do is maintain the governing board, which our board member representatives at every month goes to the meeting and reports back. The problem is none of us are educators. And so they want to have a second tier of a board that will give more input of the superintendents. Every other co-op in the area has a 2-tier level. And all of the superintendents have agreed with that, as far as I have known. Hasn't been voted on yet, but that's one of the things we're looking into. I don't know if you wanted to add anything on that. You probably know a little more.
When we talk about a 2-tier structure, what we're really talking about is having an operating board which is made up of the superintendents of the member districts, and then a governing board, which would be the lay board members from each of the districts. And really, the difference in a governance model is that, in essence, the superintendents are kind of giving a primary layer of approval to the recommendations of the executive director, or the superintendent in this case, and then the governing board would ratify or reject the decisions of the operating board. So this is, as Debbie said, a pretty common structure for other special education cooperatives. Most recently, SACID, the Special Education District of DuPage County, actually moved to that kind of structure just a few years ago. So, and again, it's because special education cooperatives are not school districts. They have a very different makeup, very different type of kind of oversight structure, and because they're member districts, having the superintendents from each district have that layer of hands-on in the governing process is something that has seemed to be effective.
It would seem that the NSSEO could accomplish the same thing on an ad hoc basis between the leader of NSSEO and the district superintendents. I guess I'm wondering why it needs to be part of a formal change.
It's actually, the ad hoc is not, from a legal perspective, in a governing model, this actually kind of alters the bylaws of the organization and formalizes a governing process that so to kind of really, to your point, I mean, we meet, the superintendent, the area superintendents, the member superintendents meet with the superintendent of NSSEO usually just about every 6 weeks. But it's kind of more of a coordination type. It's not a discussion of actual, NSSEO business. So I understand what you're saying. You're talking more about basically about an advisory as opposed to a formalized part of a governing structure.
And that was my follow-up question then. Would decisions be made and implemented at that level without ever going to the governing board?
No, the governing board would need to ratify any of the decisions or recommendations of the operating board.
I don't have anything else, so that's fine.
Great questions, thank you. Next, we'll go on to EdRed. Bill?
Thank you, Debbie. EdRed held a webinar on Tuesday discussing Illinois' current public pension problems, its history, the problem with Tier 2 pensions, possible IRS positions, and what remedies the legislature may pursue and how they would impact us. If you weren't able to watch it on Tuesday, it is available on the EdRed website to see at your convenience. EdRed's annual legislative dinner is Monday, January 27th. The keynote speaker will be Nicole Ellerson Ng, I think is how you pronounce it, Associate Executive Director of Advocacy and Governance at AASA. She will be speaking on securing the future of public education, navigating federal uncertainty in 2025. If you haven't registered and wish to attend, please contact Leticia. For your information, the deadline to register is this upcoming Wednesday, the 22nd. Finally, the next EdRed member meeting will be on Friday, February 7th. This will be a virtual-only meeting. Registration information is available on the EdRed website, and I expect it will also be emailed to us individually. And that's all I have for EdRed.
Do you have any EdRed? Okay, thank you. Then we'll go on to IASB.
Oh, if you'll give me a minute to find it again, I think I just got kicked off my computer. I could do this from memory. IASB's North Cook Division meeting will be held on March the 4th. The topic of the meeting is on the future of AI in schools. And registration is currently open, so you could contact Leticia again if you would like to attend that. And that is it for IASB.
Okay, thank you. Now on to North Cook ISC. Arlen?
Yeah, just a quick review. So there are three divisions in Cook County, North Cook being one of the three. Those, just for everybody's edification, those three units of government, essentially arms of the State Board of Education, designed to support and help school districts and monitor various things that school districts do. Great deal of responsibility falls on. I've been fortunate to be on the board over 20 years now. And what's happening now is because the state realized the value of ISB, of the North Cook division of ISC, they've given us more responsibility, more money to do the kinds of things that districts, a lot of them cannot do for themselves. So we're looking actually for more space right now because our school is growing by leaps and bounds. We have a school for kids that are referred by our school districts, 29 feeder districts feed into North Cook alone. We have 5 objectives in our strategic plan that we're looking at now, that being communication, student services, dealing with learning and support, organizational systems and capacities, and finance, of course, where we are in good shape at this point in the year. We're within our budget and actually under budget. And April Jordan, our new superintendent, was named superintendent to watch by the National School PR Association. Up to 25 new superintendents nationally have been so named. So it's an exciting place to be. It's an exciting place to have been part of for the last 20 years. And that's all I have. Thank you.
Okay.
And you have the full report. Everybody does.
Okay. The next update is the Wheeling Township 708 Board. Was there any updates there?
Yeah, there was significant update. So while we were all enjoying our holiday break, at the end of that, the General Assembly passed, you'll recall we talked about the fact that Wheeling Township requested a legislative fix to potentially move ahead with legislation that was passed by the voters 2 years ago. The General Assembly did do that fix. It's waiting for the governor's signature right now. But in that process, as part of that, they also did away with a proposed referendum that Wheeling Township was going to put on the ballot in April. That is now off the ballot. And so it's complicated. We don't precisely know what their next step will be. But that's where we are on it. And we'll see at the next meeting how they respond to everything.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Now for our local government updates. Bill, do you have any other updates?
Nothing to add.
Okay. Arlen, anything else?
Just that there's a highly contested race for mayor of Arlington Heights and a highly contested race for trustees in Arlington Heights, and we will see how that all plays out.
Okay, thank you. Phil, do you have any updates?
The only thing I'll be unable to attend the legislative event, so I will be on a cruise. I regret that we won't be there, I won't be there, however.
I think you'll be having fun. Okay, Dagmar, do you have any updates? Okay, Jessica?
Yeah, I just wanted to quickly note that I attended the London Variety Show last Friday. My youngest is in the bucket band, which is so much fun. This was probably their longest variety show. It was over an hour and a half, which I think just demonstrates how many talented kids are at London and want to showcase their different talents. There were a variety of vocal performances, some really funny skits, a song performed on the marimba, which was super fun. And what I wanted to note was 2 beautiful violin performances by our very own AJ, one of which also featured his sister, who is a very talented ballet dancer. So kudos to you for entertaining us all. It's always a joy to see the showcase of our talented kids.
Thank you very much.
Deb, could I add one thing before you wrap this
Certainly.
up? I attended another one of our concerts last night, this being the Cooper first band, or the beginning band concert, with then an encore by the senior band. It was incredible. And I just want to do another call out to our music department throughout the district. As we all have, I've been to many, many of our concerts, continue to love that as part of the job. And the music that our kids turn out, including one of our 3 board members, is just astounding. And my wife and I love jazz. We go to jazz all the time. I will tell you, last night, the senior band could have been a high school band, could have been a college band. They were so precise, they were so good. So I just want to thank our teachers throughout the district for what you do every day in music, because music wires the brain for math, we know that, and helps our students to learn. And our program is just so great, and we're so thankful for it. So thank you very much.
And I do want to add something on a personal note that is definitely related. Back in November, when we went to the III conference, I brought my son with as a guest. There was no charge to the district or anything. And when he went back to his home district where he was a paraprofessional, his principal looked at him and said, "So how was the conference?" And he looked and said, "It was life-changing." Instead of working towards a doctorate in psychology, he withdrew from the master's program at UW-Madison, where his husband is in law school, and applied for the education department. He wants to teach. Eventually, he wants to become a superintendent. That's what he says.
I'll talk to him about that.
But there was an opening in his school for a full teacher, and last Monday, he became a teacher for a special ed class in the middle school there. So it can change, our conferences can change lives, and I'm just so proud that one of our kids is going up there to help all these other kids. So thank you for indulging me. Proud mom moment. Okay, now we'll go on to the next section of the agenda, which is staff communications. We have, student rep, you're right, I was too excited. Can't forget you guys, student representatives.
So this month, and thanks for hanging out and waiting for us, everybody. So this month, we asked our student representatives to come back and share a little bit about, from their perspective and the perspectives of their compatriots in school, what are some of the biggest challenges that students are facing currently, whether that be academically, socially, or otherwise. So who wants to go first? Carla, you go first.
I think that some of the problems that a lot of students are facing academically are lack of motivation, which could be because they're overwhelmed and trying to stay afloat with work during the school year. I've also heard that some students are overall being bored with schoolwork and students don't really seem captivated. For my updates, we're doing picture retakes, which were on Tuesday. We have a board game club, student council, art club, the middle school art exhibition, media club, wrestling, volleyball tryouts, and musical auditions. We also have new cell phone rules, which are once a teacher sees a phone, they put it in a bag with the kid's name on it and send it to the office where parents can pick it up at the end of the day. And I've also noticed that it's been very effective and students have stopped using their phones like how they usually do. So the challenges that students have been facing lately is, first of all, fitting in with other people. That's very common because it's very easy to stand out from the crowd. And people, like teenagers overall, like they don't like being embarrassed because of like what clothes they're wearing, that it's not popular, or what shoes they're wearing as well. And there's basically like, if you're not fitting in with the standard of like what the popular kids are wearing or what's in, then you're pretty much gonna be picked on since you're not wearing what people like to wear in the grade. And I don't think that's okay, because if you like something, then you should be able to do what you like. Like other people's opinions don't matter. And yours really matters more if that's what you feel like doing. And another struggle is with attendance. And lots of students have trouble waking up, and they say that they're sick. And that's also a problem because some kids aren't rich enough to afford medicines. And also some people have trouble managing their time. Like usually it's very common to stay up late scrolling on Instagram or TikTok. And also, some people complain that the workload, like for homework, is too much. And I get that they're trying to prepare us for high school, but it's been very stressful. And also, one last thing, they're also saying, like, some people are saying very rude things to teachers and other classmates and peers, and their attitude is, like, very disrespectful, and I think they have to fix that. And missteps sometimes work in our school, and sometimes it doesn't, and usually students would have to meet up with teachers to fix their issues. And for the updates, math counts competitions are coming up soon. And the spelling bee for the district as well is coming up. And then in February, the auditions for Strike Junior is also coming up. And we also have a solo ensemble contest on February 1. And currently, girls volleyball and boys wrestling are playing a lot of games. It's their season. And we also have family culture night to those who want to come. Those are all the updates I have.
I feel like there are two problems I would like to speak about regarding students that I feel happen on an everyday basis. One of them being the short form content on social media that we receive via our cell phones and social media. Day by day, there is a lack of attention in the classroom. And I'm not talking just for our middle schools. I'm talking about kids across the world in every single classroom. I would like to regard this problem because it's to a point where there is distractions entering our classroom and kids bringing in their phone into class and using their computer to play games while they should be learning. There is more to this problem than just meets the eye, and I hope this problem gets more light in the future. And the second problem I like to be regarding is that there is so much diversity in our schools. Diversity is a good thing, but sometimes I feel like we're just stuck in our own little social bubble. So I wish during home base or any period, we could have times where we do team building activities with all the students in our schools. And if we go farther enough to maybe go to other schools and meet new kids, especially in 8th grade, since we're all going to be coming to Buffalo Grove in District 214, I'd like to see more of that. And then for our updates, the solo ensemble contest is happening soon. The variety show, I think they just finished doing auditions. And then there's girls volleyball, which has started. They just finished their tryouts. 8th grade retake pictures, wrestling, and jazz band, where Mr. Gould was at our last concert. And we do play with a bunch of high schools at BG. I don't remember the date. I'll get to that. But feel free to come. It's always fun listening to all the high schools and us play jazz. Thank you, guys.
I just have to mention his solo last night was a killer. It was absolutely astounding. So let's give him a round of applause. It was phenomenal.
Thank you.
Tomorrow, actually, I will see these fine people again because they are also part of my Superintendent Student Advisory Council, and our next meeting is tomorrow afternoon, right in this room. And actually, what I've shared with middle school principals is, in terms of the topic, we're going to cover this time around is a stump the superintendent. So kids are going to be coming with questions, and we'll be having, I'm sure, a nice dialogue where they're going to try and see if they can confuse me and not be able to answer one of their questions. So I'm looking forward to it. Obviously, it's one of my favorite things to do.
Awesome. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you for your time.
Oh, you're welcome. We understand you have schoolwork, all that homework you don't have time for, you need to get home and do. So, thank you all. Okay. Now we are on to staff communication, the superintendent's report, the strategic planning process update.
Yes, before we do that, I just want to offer our deepest congratulations to Bob Gurney, who last evening was, yes? Last evening, Bob was named as the next superintendent of Mokina Elementary School District 159 down in Will County. So congratulations, Bob. Bob has been part of our family in District 21 for over 20 years and has been a teacher, instructional coach, dean, assistant principal, principal of two middle schools, London and Cooper, and obviously for the past 6 years has been assistant superintendent for human resources. So District 159 is getting a fantastic person for their next superintendent, and it is bittersweet. We will be sorry to see you go, but are extremely happy for you to take this next step in your career. So everybody, Bob Gurney. So this is really just a brief update. It seems almost hard to believe, but the board's current strategic plan was formed in the fall of the fall of 2019 and the winter of 2020. The board actually adopted the strategic plan in January of 2020, and we all know what happened about 8 weeks later. But believe it or not, we have actually been doing a lot of work under the guidance of the strategic plan that is now coming up for the end of its life in the spring of 2025. So we are in the process of convening our successor strategic planning process. This one, we're going to be aiming for a 3-year strategic plan that will take us from 2025 to 2028. I think one of the lessons that we learned from having a 5-year strategic plan that then was side-railed by a global pandemic, 6 weeks after it was adopted, is that maybe 5 years is a bit too long to plan out for, and that maybe a 3-year plan might be a little bit make a little bit more sense in the world in which we exist. So the process that we will be starting will be in February, the latter part of February. We're going to be, the process is going to be facilitated by Dr. Joe Porto, who is a retired superintendent from Avoca. He actually started his administrative career in District 21. He was the assistant principal at Cooper when Cooper was a junior high. So he actually is quite excited to come back and to work with District 21. But Joe's got a great process. I have worked with him before in strategic plans, both in my prior district in Keeneyville and also most recently as part of the EdRed executive board. He did a strategic plan with EdRed. And he really just has a great process that he aligns very much with Good to Great, one of the kind of the texts that has been out there for quite some time. And it's very really kind of streamlined and simple process that we come out on the other side with a very straightforward and actionable strategic plan. So we're going to be in the process in the next couple of weeks of forming the team. It's going to be about 45 people, including members of this board, and have representatives from the faculty and staff and administration and parents. There will be a survey, a parent survey and staff survey that will be coming out, kind of get some satisfaction data. In fact, I had a conference call with Joe just this afternoon to check in. So a lot of some pre-work that's going to be coming up in the early part of February. But the first actual session, planning session, there will be 4 sessions, 3-hour sessions. We're going to be doing them on Monday evenings. And that first session is scheduled for February 24th. So more to come. There'll be more details on how people can get, answer the survey and become part of any kind of focus groups that we may do. But we're moving along, and we should have a draft of a new strategic plan that the board can consider at your April meeting. So it's going to be definitely an expedited process. So any questions? All right, one last thing before we move on, and I don't know, Michael, if you have anything that you can add to this, but one of the things, as you know, when we placed the modular units at Kilmer, one of the pieces of that was that we ordered a canopy, kind of a weather, kind of break for the distance between the entrance to the main building and to the modulars. We've been frustrated with the pace at which the canopy, it needed to be manufactured. It was a special item. It wasn't something that they just could pull off a shelf. But we have been frustrated with the pace at which it is taking to get this installed. There's been delays. There's been some manufacturing delays. Then, weather has not cooperated most recently. I just want to assure the board that we are pressing. Michael is in frequent contact with the vendor, and I don't have a specific date as to when that will be installed. But we are pressing as hard as we can. Unfortunately, the process is what it is. I mean, if they're bringing in parts from overseas, if they're, if I knew what ship it was on, I'd find a helicopter, go out there and get it. But unfortunately, that's not necessarily within my purview. So if you got anything else?
I have an update from the representative that the delay, and we knew this going into winter break, was potentially the installation of the posts into the asphalt because of what was needed to go ahead and make sure that the canopy was secured because of the elements, not just the elements that come down on it, but when it swoops underneath it because it's not enclosed, whatnot. It sounds like that they have the post installation figured out. Right now, it's the finishing of the actual canvas, because canvas is something that I did not realize was at such a premium. And because of when we got into the queue, there have been delays. So I am supposed to receive an update Monday. And then we will go ahead and make sure that that gets shared out. But the goal, it was supposed to be installed when the students returned, but based upon the weather, that was the initial, and then obviously there's been an additional canvas delay. So we will keep you posted.
So we just wanted to note it because it is something that, we're looking at our watches kind of going like, let's go. But he's pressing as hard as he can.
I think we know you are.
Okay, thank you. Now, we have reached the public comment section of our meeting. The board will allow any individual to share a public comment for up to 3 minutes. Such comments should not include discussion of personnel matters, which should be brought directly to the attention of the appropriate school official. During public comment, the board and administration listen to comments but may not respond to the public. Leticia, have we received any public comment cards?
No, we have not.
Okay, Mike, have we received anything online?
Yeah, we actually have one virtual comment.
Okay, thank you.
Sarah James, I'm going to go ahead and unmute and let her. Miss James, if you could unmute and go ahead. You'll need to actually hit unmute. There should be a request.
You clicked the wrong person. I'm not Sarah James, and my screen said to click on mute.
Okay, 1 second. Miss James, go ahead. She's up, it's just not, it's still muted, so. She's there. Miss James, can you hear us? If you could click unmute.
Hi, mine has unmute also, and I'm not Sarah James. Be technical stuff going on.
Miss James, could you try now, please? Oh, so I just sent her a chat and it says she's not in the meeting, so I think she's,
Okay,
and actually now she's not listed in attendees.
okay. Then we'll go on. Cass, have we received any written public comments?
Yes, we have.
Okay, thank you. Those in attendance, we will be all the board members will be emailed those, and they will be included in the minutes for the meeting, so that anyone that's in attendance would like to read them, they'll be able to read them in the minutes next month.
And just as a quick summary, that comment is from Samantha Leahy. It's in regards to concerns around the reading curriculum, and as he said, that comment will be placed into the minutes.
Okay, thank you. Okay, the next item on the agenda is the consent agenda. This month, we received one new Freedom of Information request in their conference and travel expenses for the board to approve for attendance for 4 board members to the 2024 Joint Annual Conference for a total of $1,608.60. Phil, have you reviewed the financials?
Yes, there was just a couple questions and they're very minimal.
Okay. Okay, do we need anything pulled from the consent agenda?
Yes, Debbie, as I was at my son's wedding last month, could we please pull items A and B?
Okay, thank you. May I please get a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented minus items A and B?
So moved.
Phil?
Yeah.
Dagmara? Yes. I vote yes. Debbie?
Yes.
Bill?
Yes?
Harlan?
Aye.
Motion carries.
May I please get a motion to approve items A and B of the consent agenda?
So moved.
Phil? You again. Dagmara? Yes. I vote yes. Debbie?
Yes.
Bill?
Abstain?
Harlan?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you. We have now reached the new business section of the agenda. The first item is the approval of a contract for purchase of property located at 2836 East Hints Road for consideration in the amount of $350,000.
There's no presentation on this. It's obviously related to the potential early learning center. If there are any questions, Michael is available to answer those. Otherwise, we can move forward.
Any questions?
Second.
Dagmara? I vote yes. Debbie?
Yes.
Bill?
Aye.
Harlan?
Aye.
Phil? Motion carries.
Okay, thank you. The next item is the approval of a contract for the purchase of property located at 2840 to 2844 East Hints Road for consideration in the amount of $540,000.
So moved.
I vote yes. Debbie?
Yes.
Bill?
Aye.
Harlan?
Aye.
Phil? Dagmara? Yes. Motion carries.
Okay, next we have the approval of bids for the conversion of the Gill Administration Building to district storage space.
Again, no necessary presentation necessarily unless you have any specific questions.
Mike, based on what we talked on the phone, if we could just get a brief overview. This is the last thing we're doing with the Gill Building,
Yes.
and exactly what portions of the building are being used for what?
So the front half of the building, if you've been inside of, obviously been inside the Gill building, as you go up that side stairwell and towards the old boardroom, the other section of the building, the front section of the building is where the old administrative offices were. That area is going to be turned into a district storage facility. As we've noted on many occasions, we simply do not have enough storage space in the district for, name it, excess classroom furniture, just material that we may need. And as we have been looking at options for what to do with that vacated area, and then compare the marketplace for storage space out there in the commercial market, it is insane how costly the leases for that storage space is. So it really made a lot of sense for us to look at that space as a place that could be converted into our own storage facility. The tech department, as well as the operations center, which goes towards the southern, yes, the southern part of that building, has already been retrofitted and will continue to be in use for those purposes. So this is just that kind of shell up front that will be
And we're
converted.
done, at this point, then we would be done with the building.
Correct.
Thank you.
Just two quick questions. We're doing the two floors then, so the top floor and the bottom floor? will
Yeah,
be
Michael, do you want to
storage?
kind of give an overview of what they're going to do in there?
Yeah.
So it'll be a little over 5,000 square feet of storage.
That's what I was gonna
The bottom floor will be, so we are gutting everything that we can that's not structural. So no drywall, so that there is no opportunities for water damage or anything. Truly bringing it down to the bare bones minimum. There will be a lift that will allow so that our employees are not injured moving stuff up those stairs. That'll take items to the second floor. The second floor was previously reinforced already, so while there are some weight limits, they're not as little as they would have been if the work when Gill was originally renovated hadn't been done. We envision some of the smaller, there still will be some rooms because of the structural nature of things. Those would be smaller things like supplies. The wider open spaces are more for furniture, our paper load. It's all temperature controlled so that way there are no issues with what we keep in there. And truly, it allows us to get rid of the storage containers that are on the properties, as well as the storage space that we're currently renting from our construction managers, so.
So this would do away with the need for any outside rental space?
Any outside rental space for sure, and any outside container as of now, although some buildings we are looking at smaller outdoor, not sheds, they're actual concrete or brick structures to make sure that the folding chairs that we've purchased, things like that, can be got out of the hallways and places that right now we just don't have space for. But many of those will be brought to either Gill, or now the warehouse will have more room because of the items that get removed from there.
Gotcha. Okay, thank you very much.
I'm sorry, I'm not sure if I caught it. The old boardroom, is that going to be part of what's being renovated as well?
No, the old boardroom has no renovation going on. It already has gorilla racks with shelving in there that the buildings and that the departments are using. So it is completely filled, as well as the old board conference room has stuff in it as well. We have used every square inch of the building, and now it's the remaining part that had offices that will be made into actual real storage, so.
Okay. I'll make the motion.
Thank you.
Second.
Debbie?
Yes.
Bill?
Aye.
Arlen? Phil?
Aye.
Degmara? I vote yes, motion carries.
Okay, and the last item under new business is the approval of construction manager fee structure for the Gill Administration Building to district storage space conversion. Any questions on that? Okay, may I get a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Bill?
Aye.
Arlen?
Aye.
Phil?
Aye.
Degmara? I vote yes. Debbie?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Okay, thank you. And the last item here is the next regular meeting of the Board of Education of Wheeling CCSD21 is scheduled for Thursday, February 20th, 25. May I get a motion to adjourn the meeting?
Second.
Debbie?
Yes.
Bill?
Aye.
I vote yes. Arlen?
Aye.
Degmara? Phil?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you.